Last week I painted a piece I didn't like and shared the process here on the channel. I promised myself I'd come back this week with another attempt, a chance to learn from the mistakes that led to a piece that felt unbalanced. The process started as usual, first sketching the layout slightly with a soft pencil. I kept the composition similar, with just a few small twists. I slightly changed the angle. I said goodbye to that horizontal cut from the previous version and shifted the fireplace's position behind the couple. For the contouring, I mixed a deep red and blue to create a solid burgundy. I love using a strong outline. It excites me to fill in those dark lines, almost like when I was a kid coloring in those thick outlined books. In the studio, I kept the first version pinned above me so I could glance at it and notice what I wanted to change this time. Around me were also a few paintings that I really love, where the colors and the overall feel truly speaks to me, and I wanted to achieve a similar harmony here. It's funny how sitting with a painting you didn't like can really push you to think, to understand what you could do differently next time. This time I prepared my colors in advance, mixing them with a medium that keeps them wet throughout the process because acrylics dry so fast and this really helps. I also added some shading around the darker areas, using a deep blue tone beneath the figures' bodies. Scattering colors across the surface in a quick, instinctive way helps me build an idea of what the final piece could look like. It's really a work of layers. I used the same shades as before, but made them work better together, softening those harsh contrasts and keeping a sweetness across the tones. A lot of my paintings have brownish tones. I've always loved the whole range of browns. Brown goes with everything, every color and every neutral, and it reminds me of the mid-century design that I love so much. There's such warmth in it that I love dearly. I've been keeping the color saturation lower, using the same palette but in softer, more muted ways. And I'm remembering to pause often, to really take each step carefully. Sometimes when I rush, it's easy to lose the balance and harmony. So I keep checking in with the painting, asking if it's still going in the direction I imagined, or if something needs correction. It's like having an ongoing conversation with myself as I work. This painting is part of a series that captures the quiet intimacy of everyday life. Autobiographical at heart, it reflects my life in Ireland, where small domestic rituals become symbols of love, belonging, and shared existence. In this piece, a couple sits by the fireplace with autumn trees outside a window. It feels so right for this season, inviting, cozy, and full of the warmth that autumn brings me. I also kept it personal, referencing my own living room, so the blue rug, the coffee table, and the fireplace. It's a little document of this chapter in my and my partner's life, something to treasure as time keeps moving. The greenish and bluish bodies are a recurring theme in my work. Not entirely sure why I keep painting them this way. Maybe it's a connection to the ocean, to the water, something from my past I'm still holding on to. I am not sure. But I've really loved the process of this painting. It's evolving in the way I wish the previous one had. For the oil pastel application, I used Dancing Solitude as reference. The shades, the flow, the movement of that piece really spoke to me. I'm proud of it, and I wanted to bring that same gentle eeriness into this one. I kept the pastel palette limited, so everything would tie together at the end. I started with dark blues for the body. I love a strong contour, so layering over the acrylic lines I mentioned earlier, but softening the shadows just a bit. I added olive tones, purple tones, so it wouldn't feel too monochromatic. And again, I took plenty of breaks to step back and look at the work from a distance. I struggled with the fireplace in the previous version. It ended up looking like a dance floor, and not only have I never been into clubs, but it was supposed to capture the lovely red and light blue tiles of our fireplace, which I painted myself. Break Free captured those colors beautifully, and that's what I was going for, but it just didn't work that time. In this version, I changed the hues for the tiles to make sure everything ties together more cohesively. But one of my favorite moments was rubbing a bit of lilac pastel on my fingers and applying it by hand to create this soft pinkish veil. I wanted to bring the colors from the autumn foliage outside in the room, and it worked so well. It gave the piece that sweetness I kept aiming for. Overall, I see this as a successful painting. I learned so much, new steps I'll carry into future works, but also how to observe more deeply than before, and all because one painting failed. It's a reminder that failure really is a blessing in disguise. There's no growth without it, and I know a thing or two about failures myself. Let me know in the comments which version of this painting you like best. Here's a comparison of the two. I personally prefer today's version, though knowing me, I might change my mind in the future. We'll see. I hope you enjoyed this process and that it inspired you to keep going through your own failed versions in life. There's so much good waiting just beyond them.